What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Jennifer Rush, as well as Luca, who may let me move her. She was in the middle of grooming. Sometimes she gets ornery if I move her when she's doing that. Nevertheless, we're returning to Heart Over Mind, taken from the 5-album compilation sent to me by a great friend of the channel, Darren, so thank you once again. And we're up to the penultimate tune, which is Sidekick. This is a term that is often used in fiction, meaning a supporting and close character to the main protagonist, someone who is helping in the story of another person. Now, of course, in real life and even in some fictional enterprises, a sidekick has their own character arc, their own narrative significance and behavioral and or moral qualities, and in some cases there is a divergence between the protagonist and the sidekick. But in the immediate context of a song, and especially in a song from an artist who seems to sing about love and complicated emotions and imperfect relationships quite a bit, I would maybe wonder whether the narrator feels like they are nothing more than a sidekick to someone with whom they used to have a more symmetrical or emotionally significant relationship. Of course, it could be someone who is a third party observing and advising the protagonist in terms of what their relationship should or should not be, or whether it's worth their time. But if I had to guess, I would say maybe it's more that the narrator thinks they've become a sidekick when they used to be more than that. Nevertheless, I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Jennifer Rush. The track is Sidekick, and it's the second to last tune on her 1987 album, Heart Over Mind.
All that noise, oh, who's your side?
precisely when Jennifer is doing some soulful flare-ups and vocal flourishes. So, a very cleverly written song. I'll address the lyrics first. So, she is referring to the concept of being a sidekick as less than a full and significant, permanent romantic partner, but it's not about herself. It's about someone else who's a temporary fix as far as she sees it. Someone who isn't going to be there forever, doesn't love him the way she loves him, and who she is curious about the identity of. You know, who's this sidekick? And referring to her as being nothing more than a quick fix and someone who's frankly a liar, someone who doesn't care for him in the way that she might be saying. And I like the use of certain visual phrases that, you know, you guys are walking a high wire and how are you going to deal with this live wire? And when you come falling down, I'm still going to be here. I'm going to be here when you call, when you're hurt, or when this, you know, runs asunder and crashes and doesn't work out. And I'm going to be there when she stalls out and isn't willing to keep going with you. So I like the use of the concept, and I like the certainty of the narrator in terms of, you know, she's the right fit. She's the one who truly loves this guy and who's going to be there when this other flash in the pan is gone and, you know, goes on to other things. So again, there's an emotional conviction to this track, even though in this case it's not a conflict with herself. It's a conflict with the perception of the guy she loves and the plastic inauthenticity of this woman who's sort of supplanted her and at least temporarily taken what she sees as her rightful place. So a really well written tune. Of course, we get some great, again, soulful vocal deliveries and a couple extensions from Jennifer. I love the sonics, and they're a bit unusual. It's like a synth pop track, 80s style, but with some funk, which again, I know in the middle to second half of the 80s, those type of flavors, soul and funk, start infusing more and more groups or artists that up until that point in the 80s were maybe more straightaway electronic sounding synth pop. So this seems like it's in that vein. But that little keyboard run in the chorus, which was sort of ascending, that had a funkiness to it. There were some other keyboard rhythms, including one that sounded a bit like a xylophone. There was one that was more like a true piano, a bit dancing, almost jazzy. So there were a variety of synth lines, as well as some more of that, you know, brass flair at the end of some of the bars and measures, which I feel like that's something that we've definitely gotten in previous Jennifer tracks. But yes, there's a funk atmosphere to this one, which gives it a bit of a, you know, danceable vibe, but in a way that's like not so much energetic, you know, very like mechanical electronic synth pop 80s, which some of her previous tunes have had that. So yeah, this one, as other tunes I've heard from her so far, has an 80s synth pop vibe, but in a different way, a more funky, soulful kind of vein. So yeah, very much enjoyed this one, and the writing in particular, I was very keen to follow that, and I think it's written in a way that, again, is not only pretty clear as to her meaning and her feeling and her emotional mindset and her prediction or teleological suggestion about the future, but I feel there's some visual references that are very expressive and very well placed. So yeah, another top tune from Jennifer. When we come back, we'll be on to the final tune on the album, which, just to check that really quickly, will be Call My Name. I feel like I've reacted to a song by this name before, so I'll investigate the matter and see. And of course, even if I have reacted to a song with the same name from another group or artist, that doesn't necessarily mean it has anything to do with this one, but looking forward to putting this album in the completed pile and moving on to the next one. So once again, big shout out to Darren. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.